If you are easily triggered by dead plants and you feel the need to put some mean comments down below or give some unsolicited advice, this video probably not for you. I am going to be talking about a lot of dead plants today, just from, pure neglect. I am also a really busy person, and frankly, I didn't have enough time to take care of all of the plants that I had. So here is me admitting to some fails, and honestly, I also kind of thought that this video would be super helpful for y'all who might be struggling with these plants. I kind of know what I did wrong. I feel like all of these plants have died really just because I either overwatered or underwatered and just wasn't really paying close attention to the weight of the pot or the watering schedule that I was on, because honestly there was no watering schedule. I was kind of just watering all willy-nilly. This might not be a super happy video for you, but I'm going to try to make it as happy as possible. So I guess let's go ahead and just get into it. So the first one that I'm going to talk about is actually not super surprising, just because I've talked about multiple times how the deykeae is a complete and total diva. This guy is just so sad looking. It's so sad. I've held on to this for months. I really didn't have any intentions of bringing it back. I just felt really sad throwing it away. So it's just been chilling in my plant room. This guy actually died in the winter freeze, and the winter freeze happened, I think, in February. It was in my grow tent, and I feel like the grow tent almost acted like a fridge or something, and it like kept the inside of it colder. I don't know what happened. I honestly have no idea, but it dipped into like, I think, the 40s in my house, and it died. It died. It was cold damaged. Like, I know you can't really tell now because it's like super crispy looking. You could see that the inside of the leaf, like almost like the tissue was like turning like a brownish color, and it was just sad. It was a very sad plant, and it's been very hard to let this go, but I know there's no coming back from this. There's just absolutely no way. The next plant that I have was actually a plant that I was struggling with. I think that I talked about this plant in my like troubleshooting video, and I basically talked about how I was not going to do anything different with this, and I was just planning on like keeping water at the bottom and trying to keep this like a little bit more moist. All of my lacunosa that were outside died in the winter freeze. I couldn't bring them inside because they were like rooted into this big pot, and I was like, it's probably fine if I just cover them with a sheet. They were not fine, and they did in fact die. But this one was actually inside, and I really think that this was just like neglect on my part. I wasn't super keeping track of how this was doing. It was like rehabbing, and I just didn't have the time for rehabs really, so it really just bit the dust. But luckily, I do have 2 more plants of this. One of them is actually hanging in the back right there. It's a lacunosa snowcaps. This little mini one just didn't make it because it really was struggling with its roots. The winter freeze still didn't really make it super happy. It's just sad. Like, it's dead. These are some crunchy crunch leaves. I'm gonna have so many dead leaves on my floor at the end of this, but that's another one that's very sad. The next one was also in my troubleshooting video, but surprisingly, the one that was in my troubleshooting video was the larger plant of this one. This is actually my backup plant. So I no longer have a Hoya caudata. Both of mine have died, unfortunately. This guy, he had root mealies, and in the attempt to save it, I think I made it worse. So sometimes I kind of just like scoot them aside and I see that they're dying and I just kind of hope for the best. This did not end up being the best. It died. I'm really sad about it because caudatas were one of the Hoyas that really like got me into collecting Hoya. They were kind of like my wish list plant for a really long time, and when I finally got my hands on them, I was so happy. It's been one that's flowered for me multiple times, and it's always been so pretty. Yeah, this is another one that I'm honestly really sad about. I would like to purchase another caudata and give it a go, because this one wasn't really my fault. I blame the root mealies more so than myself, but I guess I should take some part of the blame, considering in an attempt to fix it. I killed it. So yeah, that's the Hoya caudata. The next one I actually think that I'm going to blame Pawn for. And again, my slight neglect of not really super checking the pots. I have a backup of this one, so I'm pretty happy about that, but I still am pretty sad because this was a beautiful plant. This is the Hoya Croniana silver. It I don't know. I don't think that I could bring this back. The stem is kind of squishy. I think that I overwatered it and the pond like didn't really help much. I stopped really like paying attention to the weight of the pond, and honestly this pond is still kind of heavy and I can't remember the last time I watered it, so it's not looking too great. The top of it is like has a lot of dead leaves. But yeah, this is another one that just rest in peace, my dude. I'm so sorry. I'm glad I have a backup though. I don't know what happened. I feel like this is like a disease. I don't know. I don't know what this is. It looks really gross. It looks really gross. This is my Hoya phuwuaensis. Phuwuaensis. You can see that there's like, I don't know what's going on with the leaves there, but it's not quite like dead, but you can see the dehydration in the back of the leaf. It's like really bad. I don't know if it's something that's in the soil. I don't know. This is like a particularly extra chunky mix, so I'm thinking maybe it had to do with that. This was actually in my bathroom. It started doing all that stuff. So I don't really know if it's like a mite issue, if it kind of looks like it could be mite damage. And I really don't know. This is a weird one. This one's a wonder. I guess if you want to give a little bit of advice on what could have happened to this one, maybe leave it down below. It's not sun damage. It's definitely not sun damage. I think it's something abnormal, not typical. But yeah, it could have also been just overwatering and that's how it looks, but I doubt it. This is a really sad video to film. Like, I thought that I would be able to just kind of get through it and like laugh about it and be like, oh haha, dead plants. But like, wow, this is actually kind of not so fun. The next one is actually a plant that's not quite I guess at the end of its journey of death, but it's definitely dying. It's like very dehydrated. Again, I had this one in the grow tent and I did not water it for, I don't even know how long. It had to have been like at least 3, maybe 4 weeks. It looks very much so on its last leg. I don't really see this coming back. I think maybe if I uproot it and try to put it in like water and, you know, regrow its roots or something, it could make it, but frankly, I don't really want to put that much energy into it. It's so bad. I don't really care too much about this plant because it gives me bad memories and bad vibes, so I don't think I really want to put too much more energy into this. These next couple ones really make me sad because and I think both of these have died due to mite damage also. It could have also just been that I didn't water them for a while, but the way that the leaves look, I feel like I could tell the difference between like, okay, you didn't water that, that's why it's dead. It looks crispy, but there's nothing weird going on with the leaves. There's weird stuff going on with this, like super weird stuff. It like has this sort of scabbiness, I don't know how to say that word. It has like scabs like all over the leaves, and that's kind of why I think could possibly be mite damage. I obviously didn't catch it in time. And then this guy is my Hoya Obscura, and it's so funny because I think I put this one in like my top like easiest plants or something like that as of recently. I think it was like easy plants under 5 minutes, and it died on me. And there were actually a couple of you that told me that it died on you too. But again, like there's like weird damage on the dead leaves that just, it looks abnormal. And I'm not sure if I said, but this one is my Hoya quinquenervia. Wow, it took me a little bit to recall that. Maybe I should start labeling my plants. I feel like my brain is full of NCLEX knowledge and nursing stuff now, but yeah, these guys didn't make it, and I'm honestly really sad. This guy was actually a trade from one of my friends here in Houston, and I'm like, I'm really sad to see it go because it was really cute. It was like a really, really nice plant and it was doing so well. This next plant I'm actually not sad about at all because I want to say this is my second or third attempt at a Hindu rope and it died. This guy died because I didn't water it and because it's in a terracotta pot, it just shriveled up and died. It just shriveled up and died. I'm sorry for those of you that think I am like a spectacular plant mom. Clearly, I'm not the best. I'm not the best. I really am not. This guy was a giant pain in the booty, and it was very hard to keep this alive because of the like pot that it was in. It had like the roots kind of stuck to the pot and I didn't feel like it was super necessary to repot it. So I was just kind of crossing my fingers and hoping that it wouldn't die, but clearly that didn't work. I actually needed to put in the effort and I was just too lazy to. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Mr. Hindu Rope, that you died. I hope that I can find a replacement for you in Home Depot soon, I think. I don't know. This guy, I mean, like you guys know, Hindu ropes are not my favorite plants, and again, I just, it's not super surprising that it died. It's really just not. Next one I actually had in my troubleshooting Hoya video too. It was doing so well, you guys. It was doing so well. And then it died. This is a fitchii. Maybe this is a good video for me to film because I am realizing once again that this soil is the same soil that I used on these plants and on this plant. I think maybe it might have been too chunky. I kind of assumed that it was a little bit too chunky for this guy because it was a rehab and it did have sort of like newer roots. I really did have to keep a closer eye on it than I did, but it died. It's dead. She's dead. She's like super crinkly, like extra crinkly. Thankfully, I do have a backup of this, but this one was so big. This one had flowered on me. This one was like thriving. It looked so good before I put it in this stupid soil, and I put it in a terracotta pot like a dumb. I wasn't thinking. I wasn't thinking. I was not thinking on this one. I'm really trying to make light of this situation. But yeah, the next plant that I have again isn't like, it doesn't look as dead as the rest of them, but I think it might be. This is another one that had root mealies. I moved this one like into leca. This is my Hoya Rebecca, and you can see it's like super dehydrated, like extra super duper dehydrated. Maybe if I water it, it'll come back, but I don't really have super high hopes for it. The bottom leaves are like black. They're so dead. They're so dead. I don't even know why I'm like trying to say like, oh yeah, this might come back. Like that leaf is literally, it's dead. I don't really see this one coming back. I'm sorry. But yeah, there's that one. And then the last plant that I have is my Syngonium rayi. I am left with a leaf, a single leaf that is kind of dying, coming in. It's so dead. It looks so funny. I do not think that I'm going to trash this one because it does have that like little bit of life showing. But I honestly think that the majority of the other ones that I've showed y'all, it is going in the trash because I don't have time. I don't have the energy to try to rehab them, and some of them are just way too far gone to rehab, so I'm not going to be doing that. But yeah, those are all of my dead plants. Like, could you believe how many dead plants I had? Have you guys lost plants recently? If you did, definitely let me know in the comments down below. But that's going to be it for today's video. If you guys like the video, go ahead and hit the like button down below. And if you like me or you like plant videos, go ahead and subscribe if you want to. But that's gonna be it for today's video, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye! Also, I passed my NCLEX, so I'm a registered nurse, y'all. I'm so happy.